All right, so ESL just announced their 2022 update for EPT, a list and schedule of the tournaments that they're going to have, as well as a bit of information about what's happening with the Open Cups and their partners. There is not any information really about the future after 2023 in this specific blurb, but we can talk about that a little bit from the TL blurb that I'll get into in a little bit. So the first thing that I do want to discuss is the actual year itself. Then we will talk about the potential for StarCraft 2's future. So let's get into this one. ESL Pro Tour is happening. Bunch of blurb. Then here is the tournament schedule. Our official start to the 2022 season is going to be Valencia, which I really want to go to. I have not gone yet, even though we've had Valencias in the past. We have qualifiers, regionals, and the actual LAN itself. So return to offline tournaments. That is awesome. Hoping that everything goes well enough that we can not only have casters and players, but also a crowd. We also have Atlanta later on, the Katowice. That might be the final one. We have no idea. And then we have partner events. So they've elevated Home Story Cup and TSL into a partner event and made them kind of part of the circuit. So we look at this, and it might look okay to begin with, and it is, because I think most people are just going to be excited about offline tournaments and going back to regions of the world and all that. We do have to bring up that it's less tournaments. It is. It's less tournaments. Usually we'd have, the previous 2 years, we've had kind of technically 4 Dream Hacks: summer, fall, winter, and last chance. And before that, we had 3, 2 Kievs, 1 Montreal. Before that, we had 4 stops, plus any of these tournaments that we see here: Home Story Cups, Asus Rogs, BlizzCons, whatever. And now we have TSL, of course. But at the end of the day, that means that this is less. So that could be cause for panic. It could. But I want to put some of the good things forward first, right? Good things first. Good thing, offline, excellent, great. Good thing, strong, I think, structure for the tournaments. We're still going to do these extended regionals, which online casting, still, I'm not excited to do it again, but it's probably going to happen for the online regionals. I'm just happy that they actually have something that's probably going to be streamed and promoted leading up to the tournament. And we do have elevated position of our favorites partners, Home Story Cup and TSL 9. That's cool, right? That's kind of it. Oh, and the other upside that I will throw out here before getting into the downside is that there is less StarCraft tournaments. That could be considered an upside, you guys. There have been so many StarCraft tournaments the last couple of years, and the fact that they've all been online, and many of them with extended qualifiers and regionals, it's just been so much of the same. It's been so much, and I think viewer fatigue set in pretty much around start of 2021, if I had to guess. 2020 was just, thank God anything's happening because of COVID screwed us over, but now people are looking for something different. Anyways, the amount of StarCraft was insane, and that also stopped some other tournament organizers from entering in with bigger tournaments. I'm not talking about huge names that I know of anyways, but even just guys like Wardy not being able to run, bigger tournaments because the entire 3 months was booked up. So I'll put that as a positive for now. Head into the negatives. It is just less. It's less tournaments. It is, I think, a sign of them moving towards a more sustainable year-to-year deal with StarCraft 2. If they were making buku dollars on StarCraft 2, I think they'd have more Dream Hacks. I think that's just the way it would go, right? But they don't. And instead we have 2 plus elevated positions of their tournament partners. And I think that is a bummer, just because it is, less tournaments, less travel, less potential for a big event to be happening close to your hometown. The global aspect of esports is awesome. One of the reasons I really wanted to get into it was because I wanted to travel, but even just in general as a fan, knowing that potentially it could come around to some place within your reach was exciting, and now it's less likely to happen unless some smaller organizations, local lands start to pick things up, right? Which could happen if COVID really does start giving us breaks. Maybe Cheesadelphia will come back or something like that, but right now, the planned StarCraft 2 tournaments, a little bit less of them. A little bit less. So that's the biggest bummer looking at this, and I'm certain many people are going to see it as a sign that they are going to fully withdraw or something super, super pessimistic. I don't think that's actually the case, but regardless, it could open up more opportunities for other tournament organizers. It could help with viewer fatigue, so people get excited again for tournaments and they make their plans around that tournament. Yes, but overall, less tournaments. I think we all admit that's a bit of a sad thing. Not that I want to make this entirely sad, though. Let's move on to some of the details. The regionals, like I said, they're going to be happening once again in seemingly same fashion as the previous couple of years, so 2 or 3 weeks of a lot of StarCraft 2 to determine who actually gets to go to these main events. And I imagine they're going to be online broadcasts. I have no confirmation. I have no further details, guys. But then it leads to the actual event at DreamHack. Katowice is happening, undetermined exactly when, but February or March. And then the partner events, filling out a few of these as well. And that kind of is the biggest announcement portion of the announcement. It's the dates, it's the tournaments actually happening. That's awesome. But then some tinier announcements. Open Cups will continue on without the Shopify Open Cup boost. They stopped January 10th. They begin April 4th. TLMC will be happening again, and hopefully Blizzard will be a little more attentive to correctly implementing maps. You can only cross your fingers on that one. And then wrapping up, they just mentioned 2023. They don't actually mention anything about the continuation of StarCraft 2 after Katowice 2023, and this is probably the real meat and potatoes of the video, if I had to guess. So you guys could read this and be relatively excited or a little sad yourselves without much help from me, but might be thinking, what does this mean for the future of StarCraft 2? That's probably the more interesting and highly debated question. I want to point out 2 things before I give my own opinions. One, they're in this little blurb that is mostly not worth really reading. It's just, social media blurb, whatever. Next season of the ESL Pro Tour for StarCraft 2 will be evolving in an important step for the longevity of competitive StarCraft 2. Looking to work closer with the tournament organizers that the community already knows and appreciates. So right there, they do acknowledge, longevity of StarCraft 2, further years of StarCraft 2. They just don't have anything concrete said about it. Then TL, talking a little bit more to Heyoka about this, post in their post about this. You want to go discuss it on TL? Here it is. That they did ask Heyoka about the continuation of StarCraft 2 after 2023, asked about the likelihood of Blizzard continuing to sponsor the EPT circuit after the expiration of the current 3-year contract. Heyoka confirmed that talks with Blizzard were underway and that he was optimistic. So that's great. He also mentioned that they are looking ahead to how we can work together to make sure players can compete. And the way they see it is working closer with people already doing it instead of just kind of having our thing and their thing. So, every one of these things combined, these 2 sentences, this little place here, paragraph here, pretty much just means that they are looking to cushion StarCraft 2 for a while longer. They are going up the bat for us, I think. That is one of the big things that happened when ESL announced that they were going to take over from Blizzard back in 2020. And I made a post about that, how much that could mean. One, I think the people working at ESL, there are a lot of StarCraft OGs who just really are still passionate about making it work. They still think it's a great esport, and they still see a lot of promise in it. So they're going to go to bat for us more often. They're going to understand us a little bit better as well, as opposed to just being mostly doing other video game things. They're actually tournament organizers who have a lot of them having a background in StarCraft 2 as fans, tournament organizers, casters, you name it, right? So the sentiment here for us, I think the community at large, the casters as well, speaking a little bit on behalf of my co-casters, is that ESL is going to take care of us in better ways than just Blizzard could have. And I think we have to throw in a big thank you to Blizzard for continuing to give money to our scene, which really doesn't give them much money anymore. So rare time I'm going to actually say thank you to Blizzard, but ESL was the real caretakers, if you will. They are the trusted parental figure. And while they're not always perfect, we do always get the feeling, both behind the scenes and forward on the scenes with their communication, that they are actually looking out for us. And I think this just continues with that they are looking out for us. They want us to continue. They see a way to make this profitable, maybe not insanely profitable, but profitable. And in an era of time with so many companies we can see that we can interact with that say, either you make us millions of dollars or get the hell out of here, having a company be like, I think we can make it work, even if you're not going to make us even $1 million, that that just pulls a little bit of the heartstrings, I think, that we're still believed in, and I think we are. So kind of optimistic for 2023 after Katowice. I don't know if we're going to have as many tournaments, to be frank. This could be a little teaser for reduced tournaments. Worst type of teaser, isn't it? But it also could be something they're actually legitimately experimenting with. Could this be what we go into in 2023, maybe 24, hell, maybe even 25? Are we going to get another 3-year deal? I don't think so. Are we going to have the same type of excitement and optimism about the future as we did 3 years ago? Well, 2 years ago, going on 3 years ago, when the 3-year deal was announced? I don't think so. I think very few esports can get confirmation like that. Some are confirmed just from the basis of that they're insanely popular. Like, I don't think CSGO is worried about dying in 3 years, something like that. But it's very rare for many esports to have, yes, we're going to have this many going up to this year. So that was kind of a unique, very out of left field thing that happened. But I do think that if they're realistic, I think they can actually make something like this the standard for at least a few more years. That's my personal opinion. I know a lot of people out there are going to disagree, but I don't think we're at a point yet where I know a lot of people think we are, or getting there soon, where we only have to rely on our tournament organizers online, right? A lot of people are pointing out, hey, even if ESL pulls out, we still have so many other people. We still have sponsors sponsoring their tournaments. And that's definitely true. That's definitely true. I think we're going to have people making livelihoods off of StarCraft 2 long after big tournament organizers like ESL pull out, because they'll have successful streams and their own successful ways of making money that aren't necessarily attached to gigantic events with huge prize pools, right? It's not going to be that many people, but there will be there. But I don't think we're at that point anyways to start saying, okay, funnel all your money into Wardy. Like, you should give him some money because he does really good work, but we're not to the desperation point of just being like, well, guys, we have each other. Which, at the end of the day, as true as it is that we have each other and that we have lots of tournament organizers working, small to mid-level events, it would be a sucky time to say goodbye to humongous stream hacks and to ESL. Like, we would all be sad about that, but I don't think we're there yet. I think we're still going to be working with them for maybe even a couple more years, but we are back to a point where we're at this point kind of in 2019 where we really didn't have any idea what was going to happen. It didn't look like Blizzard was going to really support us afterwards, and then the 3-year deal got announced, so crazy things happen all the time. But 2019, we were all just like, are we going to have jobs next year? Like, what's going on? And then 3 years were promised. So I don't know. I sometimes I keep that in the back of my mind, but it's just the hope. But even without the extreme hope, I still think it is cause for positivity. Maybe not celebration, but I think we'd be positive about continued good, high level, high prestige, show, like, all the work that goes into big events. Going to be kind of crazy, honestly, but I think we can look forward to a couple more big events for the next couple of years. That's kind of what sums it up, and it's not necessarily the most coherent video I've ever made, but hopefully you guys got the gist. TLDR, too long, didn't watch. ESL announces tournaments. There are less tournaments than before, but the partners are elevated, and we don't know what's going to happen after Katowice 2023, but I am optimistic that there will be continued ESL presence and dream hacks, although I don't know to what extent. It might be going more and more to partners such as Take TV and Team Liquid. Perhaps it depends on how much Shopify really wants to invest. I don't know. But we do have sponsors looking at our tournaments. We do have stable viewership, stable player base. I mean, the very least, yes, we can look towards the online tournament organizers and say, hey, that's going to continue for a long time yet. But for those wondering, well, I like watching those big LANs. I want to have the pageantry, if you will. Then I don't think you have to worry yet. We'll have it for a few more years. That's my guess, not a promise. But that's it. If you guys agree that we're going to have more dream hacks and another full circuit for years to come, post it below. If you don't agree, also post it below. Just be chill, be cool, don't be all doom and gloom, and we can have some fun conversations down in the YouTube comments, something that most YouTubers have never said. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you later for more StarCraft.